Okay, this is phase 3 of our 3-part series about how to convert any expired lead or any cold call, any expired listing, phases 1 through 3. This is phase 3, and you gotta watch phase 1 and phase 2 for this to make sense. And as always, if phase 1, phase 2, and now watching phase 3, if you got something out of this, if it helped you convert an expired, which it definitely will, like, subscribe, you know the drill, share this video with another friend. I put all of my sales content out for free because I was a broke real estate agent at one point, and I don't want you to be broke because it's awesome not being broke in real estate. So phase 3, let's do a quick recap of the 3 phases. Okay, so phase 1, this is where we are in the choppy waters part of the conversation. This is where you're getting those short, kind of bitter answers back and forth, and our strategy there is agree and then pivot. Once you get out of the choppy waters, you start actually conversing with your client or with your potential client with the expired listing. You start conversing, and at this point, we really kind of turn the salesman hat off and we kind of go into problem solving mode. So we call that one stop selling, start solving, asking tons of questions, letting your prospect talk, and really trying to understand the entire picture, right? You want every detail. You want to kind of let them go and get everything you possibly can in that moment. From there, you're going to transition to the last part of the conversation, which is arguably the most important, is the close. Now we got to get the appointment. So the way you transition from phase 2 to phase 3 is, which is in the phase 2, part 2, which is in there, is where you repeat back the situation. So, hey, Mr. Seller, Miss Seller, Mr. Seller, I just want to make sure I understand the situation, and then you repeat it back to them, okay? They go, yep, you got it. That sounds about right. Boom. Now we're in phase 3. This is where we're going for the close. So once you guys agree, you repeat back their entire scenario. You summarize it for them. Number 1, they know you listened. Number 2, you actually know it. And number 3, now you guys are all on the same page. So the idea, more times than not, is to at least set an appointment. So when we're going to set an appointment, there's a couple key things we have to do to be successful. Now, one of them is assumptive language, okay? When we're talking to this client, if we get this far in the conversation, like, I'm not wondering if we're setting an appointment. I know we're going to, and that's my mentality. It would make sense for you to meet with me. I'm not going into it saying, maybe, possibly, if you're willing, if you're up for it, one day, if we could, potentially meet for, you want to cut all those words out and you want to assume the sale. So sounds maybe like, here's what I think would be best. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what I think we should do. I think this would be in your best interest. Let's go ahead and do X, right? That's assuming the sale. Okay. From here, the next step is an appointment. What we would do is set a date and a time where I come by for maybe 15, 20 minutes. Do you see how when I just started that, I'm not asking anymore. I'm assuming. Because again, if you did your job in the stop selling, start solving, you overcame a lot of the obstacles in that conversation, and you now know what the most important thing is for that seller, right? You've labeled them who they are, right? And now you close based on their pain points and what's going to solve it and why meeting at the appointment is going to solve it. Now, I want you to, if that was a lot in one take, I want you to pause it here, go back like a minute and listen to that again. Take notes because I don't like to get into all, 3-hour explanations, but this is all framework for you to convert at the highest level, okay? So if you need to pause these videos, stop, go back, take notes, make sure you do that. So the next is we need to use negative and neutral language. Now, this might be a new concept, hearing it spelled out like this, but you probably do it all the time anyway. It's things like, fair enough. Would it be totally crazy? Am I way off base? So what that's doing is that's lightening up the mood a little bit, because when we go to close, we can't do some serious like, hey, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show up with pen and paper and you're going to sign. Like, people are already a little skeptical about a random person who they just met one time, giving them information, much less then coming to their home where they sleep at night, where their family is. But then the other side of it is that the reason most clients or most expireds and for sale by owners don't want to set an appointment because they're terrified that someone's going to come over with that hard sell, like going to be in their living room with the paper like this and they can't get them out. That's like my worst nightmare, by the way, too. It's a lot of people. They don't want that. So by using negative and neutral language, we're lightening up the mood a little bit in the conversation. So it goes something like this. Look, would it be totally crazy if we did a quick 15-minute walkthrough? 15-minute max. What I want to do is I'm going to bring with me a comparative market analysis, which shows you exactly what I think the most amount of money your home would sell for. Once I see the home in person, I'll know for sure. So I'll be able to drop that off and we can answer any other questions and we can kind of game plan from there. Fair enough? So do you see how when we took that there, we almost left it open-ended at fair enough, which you have to kind of give an extreme answer to not agree, right? So if I say fair enough, no, that's not fair. Is that what you're going to say? Or if I say, am I totally crazy? They're not going to say you're totally crazy, right? So it's almost like you don't give them almost an option, but to agree. So that's the type of language you want to use as you're going for that close, okay? So again, assume, here's what we're going to do. Would it be totally crazy for us to meet for like 15 minutes, maybe tomorrow or the next day? I can bring with me a comparative market analysis so I can show you exactly the most amount of money your home would sell for. I'd love to meet you in person and learn a little bit more about your property, make sure my numbers are right, and we can game plan from there. Fair enough? That is how you want to enter that conversation. Now, remember, expect objections. You got to expect they're going to say, no, or, I'm not ready. It's like, hey, look, yeah, I got to tell you, these appointments literally take about 10 minutes, number one. And I promise you, I'm not going to bring a pen. I'm not going to try to get you to sign anything. I know that it could be uncomfortable sometimes when somebody new comes to your home and like you're probably worried, are they going to be a pushy salesman? I can guarantee you this, that I work on your timeline, and whenever the time's right, we will do what we need to do with your property, but I just want to make sure I do my job all the way. Fair enough? Do you see how when we take it now and we explain it and then go fair enough, that neutral or negative language is key because it lightens up what you're saying. It leaves it open-ended, but it's leaning towards, it's not ridiculous, right? That's what they're thinking. When you say fair enough, that's not ridiculous what you're asking for. And the other part about this, which I actually didn't write here, but I'm just going to say it anyway, is that did you hear when I said that I'm not going to bring a pen? I'm not going to try to get you to sign anything. I just want you to know, like, I would not want someone like a pushy salesman in my home either. So I completely understand why there's sometimes hesitation. That's called cold reading. I am basically overcoming the objection before they ever even say it. And now they might not actually say that objection, but what I'm doing is I'm saying it before they ever say it to me. Because 90% of the time, that's the case, right? Now, this comes with experience, and you can hear on the phone sometimes, like, what they're thinking, and they're just not going to say it. So sometimes overcoming objections, just overcoming them before they actually say them, because you already know there's a high probability that that's one of their objections, so why not just cover it right then and there? So once we use negative or neutral language, here's the most important thing. Because remember, you're going to get I'm not sure, I have to talk to my wife, all those different things. And by the way, if you want specific how to overcome, I got to think about it. I need to talk to my wife. We're just not ready yet. I'll let you know. We're still probably a ways out, but thanks anyway. If you want me to do specific live objections, how to handle those type of objections at the very end, put it in the comments and let me know, and I will do a video strictly on that. I just want to know that a lot of people want to hear that. So the last thing is you got to be ready to repeat this up to 3 times. Where I got to talk to my husband or my wife, or, we're just not ready. Well, I'll let you know. I don't know if, my house is a wreck. I don't want anyone over. You're going to have to, and I can't really teach you how to do that. You have to think on your feet here. But I promise you, if you assume, speak to the pain points, and use negative and neutral language, and do not stop. Like, go until they tell you, hey, I'm done. Well, maybe don't go that far, but right before it's like, all right, these people just aren't going to set the appointment. Because here's the thing. A lot of us will only ask one time, we get shut down, we say, okay, yeah, like let's connect next week and I'll get back to you. I think we all know how that goes. Rarely do you ever get back in contact in a serious or meaningful way with these people. So remember is that if you don't set the appointment, your odds of actually converting this person at another time drop by probably 80%. So like, don't be scared to like really go for this close. If they're on the phone with you still, that's a good sign. So let's just play worst case scenario. You repeat this 3 times, they're just not gonna do it. Well, here's what you accomplished if you did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You spent a lot of time on the phone, so there is a familiarity that's gonna be established. They told you their story, assuming it's all true, and they went into the proper detail. There's a trust factor, and now your follow-up, right? It's not even follow-up anymore. It's just going off of the plan that they told you what their plan is. So now following up doesn't have to be this monotonous, hey, are you still looking to buy or sell? Or hey, Mr. Seller, are you still interested in selling your home? Lots of homes are selling in the area. Like, that's follow-up when you don't do this the right way. That's the boring follow-up that everyone hates. It's generic and you never really get anything from it. So keep in mind, you have to be ready to do this 3 times. So this is the last part of the 3-part and 3 phases of how to convert any cold call and especially expired listings. I'm gonna do another one of these all on for sale by owners, but I can guarantee you if you practice this, if you go for the close every time, use assumptive language, speak with confidence, use neutral and negative language as you're going for the close and you're prepared to do it 3 times, I promise you your conversion is gonna skyrocket.